Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now May 5th of 2023, and not only are we getting closer to the Ahsoka Tano series, which by the way launches this August. We're not quite sure about an exact release date just yet, but we do have a lot of things that are brewing behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm leading to the Ahsoka series by Jon and Dave, as well as other creators hopping on board over at Lucasfilm. We'll talk about that at another time. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, there's a lot of different strategies that Disney is currently approaching to really kind of course correct Star Wars, and in this subject today, we will be covering what Favreau had to say about his plan in particular to quote-unquote save Star Wars, essentially, and to really kind of turn things around and mend the fandom back together again. Alright, so one thing about all of this is that we know that Favreau is very invested in the Star Wars community. He loves the fans, he loves the overall fandom, he likes the energy and the passion of them. And look, there's always going to be good and bad about Star Wars when it comes to the current state of it, right? And this is exactly why we have different sides of the fandom that are very passionate and, very much, off-put by what Disney has been putting out. Now, I'm kind of like right there in the middle. I've been loving what certain elements have been coming out for Star Wars as of late. Of course, I did not really enjoy Mando Season 3 through and through, but we all need to be very well aware that that was, of course, Kathleen Kennedy's hands put into that project. She herself even admitted it just a couple of days ago. But moving on to the next thing, and given that Mando 4 and other projects have zero Kathleen Kennedy input, right now Disney and Lucasfilm are planning to eventize Star Wars with more movie releases in theaters. However, Jon Favreau was recently able to reveal a very important plan of his own to the fandom on how they will be fixing the fan division and the current state of Star Wars. Favreau stated the following: "From what I see, there's just a lot of negativity coming from the fandom, and I, myself, and Dave, we're looking this over on how we could help mend the community together. So we feel that we need to focus on a mixture of new characters, new eras, while also respecting the legacy characters and familiar eras. And we are going to be exploring all these different angles in upcoming films and shows that are being put together by us right now. We feel it's absolutely necessary that we enhance the established characters to be more in line with the Legends lore and with the new eras and characters that we have this system in place of also kind of getting these original ideas from George Lucas and looking those over." Now, before I get to what Jon says next, he makes a good point that he wants to create this balance of new specific moments in time in Star Wars, new characters, as well as going back to the legacy characters and respecting those characters in better ways than ever before. And you know what? That definitely is the way, in my opinion. I think it's great. We have, for example, a James Mangold movie coming out that's going to explore the birth of the Force, then the whole concept of the first Jedi and the very beginning of the origins of the Force, stuff like that. That should be very interesting. And I think, obviously, Favreau is, somewhat referring to what Mangold is approaching, something just completely new that's never really been done before in both live action, animated, or in the current canon. And so, when we look at Favreau here, what he also likes to point out is that it really is about approaching many different angles of Star Wars in as little time as possible, to really kind of attract different, partitions of the fan base. You have certain members of the fans that love the mythology. Meanwhile, there's other fans that love the Andor type of stuff, strictly. Then you got other fans that love, things, for example, like with what happened with, other movies out there, like Solo: A Star Wars Story, and the spin-offs like Rogue One. They've been coming to realize that there's a lot of fans that like different things, and Jon and Dave, specifically Jon, what he's saying here is that it's all about really kind of exploring this big mashup of these different elements of Star Wars and how they can really create a library's worth of entertainment value. Moving on. Now, he elaborates further. "We love having him around," he's referring to George, "and myself and Dave get along just fine creatively." So guys, they have no problems with each other. Let's just be clear about that. He states, "We want to expand characters like Anakin, Luke, Ahsoka, Ezra, and Vader, and all these known characters in fun, entertainment ways and logical ways, while also introducing different time periods and new characters that George is giving us the okay on right now. I think the answer is to just keep adapting the Legends lore, because there is so much material just sitting there. Dave and I are just working on Season 4 right now, and we have some very exciting surprises that we are going into that I think fans are just going to cherish and love and have a blast with. I have no doubt about that. I know people want to see more of Luke in his prime, and that too is something that we are absolutely invested in 100%. Again, he is pointing out here that Luke is going to be coming back. He is going to be a very big focus in all of the future lore, as well as the Star Wars shows, and even Dave Filoni's movie. We talked about this, that there are concrete plans already to bring Luke back to the big screen again in ways that we have never seen, and that, I think, is enough to be very excited. For Luke to get another shot at the big screen is just legendary in my opinion, and can really make Dave Filoni like really an icon of the Star Wars fandom. So the next thing that Favreau brings up, I just really can't say when he comes back. He's talking about Luke, by the way, into the picture, but I would be lying if it wasn't soon. Just wait for it. Fans will have tons of fun now. We are getting others to also work with us, like Tony Gilroy and other established creators that did well in Star Wars. I think fans just need to be patient is all. And you know what? Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm a very patient person myself. I can wait until great material drops and then we can start from there. And I think that's where all things are going to be starting with Ahsoka this year in August. Because let's face it, this is the first project, and we've talked about this many times. This is the very first project that has zero Kathleen Kennedy input. And it was all written by Dave Filoni 100%. He has some help by Favreau, but this is a Filoni-specific series, and this is going to be something different. Even Ray Stevenson, one of the actors, by the way, if you don't know him, he plays Baylan Skoll. He's one of the villains, the guy with the red-orange-esque lightsaber. In there, he actually says that this is something that is completely different that fans have never seen before. No over-exaggerating on his part. He even made that very clear that there's going to be a lot of twists and turns in here, a lot of eye-opening moments. That's the kind of marketing that I love, because when they point out that they're not over-exaggerating with things, it really kind of comes across as more genuine and more realistic. So, overall, you know, I think what John here is saying is that the Legends lore is the answer, and to respect that, but to also broaden their horizons and to really create new points in time and brand new characters, which, by the way, I also respect that. I mean, Din and Grogu are new characters, right? That's something that we have never seen before in Legends or, you know, canon, you know, before they came into the picture, so good on them on that part. But it's going to be stuff like that. So I would like to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.